Hello, friends, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. My name is host Eric. I am the host of Talking with Famous People, and this channel is my autobiography, if
Yeah,
nothing else.
if you have the, if you don't mind taking the time
There's
yourself.
my 82-year-old
Yeah.
mother, 83, 82-year-old mother suffering from dementia, and she's in some of these videos, and every other aspect of my life is. This video is going to be the last I have to say about my relationship with Kimberly, and this, I mean, at least directly, it's going to be my last official words on the subject. I'm sure I'll reference that relationship plenty in videos, as I reference everything that's happened to me. I am an SI user. I have experiential knowledge. That means I know what I know based on what happens to me and what I remember, first and foremost. So, being my autobiography, this channel includes plenty of videos which are about chapter changes,
So how do I do
things
this
like
with
that.
this? Where do I put it?
Mom, anywhere you want.
No, I'll put it
I'm
there.
gonna put it there. Okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
Um, so I note when I break up with people. I note when I fight with people. I note when blah, blah. Sometimes I'm accused of publicly shaming other people. I publicly shamed C.S. Joseph in one of my videos. That I did. The other things that people think of are public shamings usually are not. I used to. I used to do it with people in the comments and stuff, and if they said something, got me all riled up about something, I'd make a video saying how dumb they were. Of course, I'd always say, "You're welcome to make one too, and I will publish it to my channel. Your response, no problem. I am fair." Nobody ever did. Um, but regardless, that's not the point. It's still not something I do anymore. It's not something I should do. It's not something I want to do. There is a presumption by a lot of people that privacy is sacrosanct, and or that I have no respect for privacy. There are a lot of notions on the floating about in the ideosphere right now relating to critiques that may seem perfectly legitimate. So I made a video the other night that said that video to OkCupid women. A lot of people were like, "Let the body cool," right? My first response to this is this relationship had gotten increasingly toxic. The last stretch of months killed all the love that we had for each other. So there wasn't much left to mourn. I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming me. I'm just saying that, now that the relationship is over, I am happy to frame things equitably in retrospect. The formal story here can be, for whatever reason, maybe simply incompatibility. Shit got insanely toxic between me and Kimberly. And so, naturally, we couldn't sustain it any longer. Okay, the second point is everybody assumes that you gotta, to some extent, split the difference when you're talking about relational things like this. That both sides have points and neither side's being fair to the other. I will only address that second point. I have been, always, not 1,000,000% of the time, but overall, always consistently, seeking and actually being fair, or too fair, or abundantly fair, or whatever. There's never been a stretch of the relationship where I was not working in the interest of fairness. So, and that's the case with my presentation on the videos as well. People think maybe that I portrayed it in a bad light. There needs to be some consideration of the fact that people aren't privy to what they don't know, obviously. I'm not saying they ought to be. I'm saying the thing that sounds bad to you could be an exaggeration of an even milder thing, or it could be a way toning down of a even way worse thing. Regardless of what it is, the way I framed it was as a problem of behavior that could be solved by changing behavior. That was not implicit to her ontology. I never did ontological creeks until the very, very end, when shit got really ugly, I guess. Um, so the notion that I've been unfair, shaming people, have gotten motivated by some other thing than what I'm saying, it's all crazy. It's all ridiculous. But I don't. I get it. I get why people think these things. So what am I? Some sort of cold psychopath because I start dating the day after I announce my breakup or whatever, 2 days. First of all, remember, I was broken up almost 4 weeks before I said anything on the internet. It took me a while to make sure it was settled in. I had some time to mourn there. People don't account for that. So I haven't been broken up 2 days or whatever. I've been broken up a week and 2 days. I I mentioned it on a couple of videos, but you have to be paying a lot of attention to Eric's life to make that distinction, I guess. Um, so I would also say that it's true that I have bipolar. That doesn't mean I haven't mourned and grieved. Yesterday, when I was in the car, I was absolutely sobbing. I was overwhelmed by sorrow. The sadness in my heart was big. But the thing is, even then, I wasn't crying for me. I was crying for Kimberly, but more broadly, I was crying for all of humanity. That that this just that people are shaped by their experiences, and I'm just pointing out unable to change her experiential reality. Her experiential reality theretofore had probably been abusive, combative, back and forth, and I was unable to change it. It repeated with me. It doesn't matter why. I wish it had been otherwise. I did my absolute very best. It's not me at all.
Well, it seemed like a very nice one that was gone over, that it was all.
Anyhow, it happened. Maybe Kimberly and I are just oil and water, dynamite and fire. I don't know. But I hated the person I was becoming in that relationship. I had become in a couple of instances. I mean, I just, I got really mad one morning, and I was swinging a broom trying to hit a fan to be dramatic, and I accidentally hit this glass globe thing over the porch, and glass shattered, and I could have seriously hurt somebody. It was an accident, but it doesn't matter. It was a rage. It was an accident produced by unkept rage, unmanaged rage, and that was a wake-up call. I mean, why did we break up? Because basically, I couldn't do it anymore. I could no longer try to solve problems with words and have them turn toxic time and time again. For whatever reason they were turning toxic. I just couldn't do it. So when I'm getting kind of criticized here for moving on too fast or being happy all of a sudden, it's hard to be overwhelmed by sadness when the steady drone of discomfort has dissipated. I realized this morning I was playing the piano with Spacey singing, and I was getting anxious. I had this sense of dread. I was going to get in trouble. It had become normalized in me. Storm's just around the corner. Any point of discussion is a point of conflict. and that anything I do, even remotely wrong or could be criticized, will be criticized. It's just I couldn't. It became my steady norm. I didn't even notice it. I didn't know I was walking around with all this dread until this morning when I realized that, oh, why am I feeling this? It's not necessary. What am I dreading? I guess what I did is I probably thought to myself, what am I dreading? And there wasn't anything there. And it made me go, oh, I'm dreading? I guess normally I would just say to myself, what am I dreading? Oh, Kimberly's coming. And I'm back in the mix of thinking about the matter. And I'm just ignoring the glaring frame here. Eric, you dread encountering your significant other because you know it's going to cause adversarial conflict, abusive language, um, stress, discomfort, anxiety. It's just, obviously, we had to split up. And the fact that I feel relieved in the absence of all that is perfectly understandable.
Everything
Now,
slides.
I will agree, Kimberly does not seem relieved at all. She seems quite agitated or upset. Um, the point is, I don't want to. I'm not interested at all in convincing you of anything bad about Kimberly. She's a good person. She took a chance on me, moved me into her house,
I know, I looked.
and
I don't see anything.
let me.
He's one.
She had a plan in place a couple of 2.5, 3 years ago, and she disrupted it to make room for me in her house and moved me in and moved her son out. I mean, her son was moved. It was very convenient for her that this all happened actually at the time, to be honest. But the point is, she did extend that trust, and I did come and live with her. And it's like people say, well, were things ever good? Were things good at the beginning? Kimberly somehow remembers them as being good at the beginning, except not that long from the beginning, she didn't remember this being good at the beginning. She's focused on how bad it was at the beginning. How I messed up at the beginning so badly. So, I did mess up at the beginning. That's probably contributed to the toxicity of it. Anyway, as I said to Kimberly, and I'll just sort of say again here publicly for everybody here, I'm very sorry I couldn't make it work. I fought for you, Kimberly, harder than I've ever fought for anybody. And maybe that was the problem, Maybe I needed to stop being so willful.
Thank you.
But just as willfulness is your nature, it's mine as well. And I always tried, without exception, to be fair, good, decent, just, and true to you. I may not have always succeeded, but I always tried to maintain that approach. And it wasn't good enough. I couldn't.
That's okay. There was nothing other than exactly what it was.
I couldn't successfully love you into loving me. And by the end of it, you made it so clear to me that you hated me.
No,
and this is not. You're right about this, babe, Kimberly.
Well,
this is not the first time that's happened. Same thing happened in my last relationship. By the end of it, Candace made it so abundantly clear she hated me that there wasn't any chance for us to do anything but break up. So, whether or not it's my fault, when you break up like that, like the other person is just like, Eric, you're just, everything about you makes me want to puke. And you go, baby, let's stay together. And they go, Eric, okay, but God, you disgust me. Well, then when I end up, when it ends up happening, and it's not even clear if I broke up with her or she broke up with me in this instance, Kimberly. I don't even know. It's like, we're done. But when that's the last stretch of it, as it's been for Candace and for Kimberly, It's
This
been
this will work.
the long last stretch
Unless
of the relationship.
somebody leaves somebody and they're not.
Mother,
Yeah.
Mother Jane,
Yes.
Jane, my mother.
Well, those people.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you can ask, but I'm not your.
Can you please use library voice?
I can't think of it.
What is it? Um, I did everything I could. I can't stop being me. And she didn't like me. When you lead that way, it makes it easier emotionally. That's for sure. Because you've endured the sting of a lot of hurtful things. You know, if you're human, you're gonna feel the sting of it, and after a while, you get inured to it. Criticism kills love. In a lot of ways, you know, it's interesting how everything that Becky told us was right. It was right on the money, basically. And I never doubted it. Even when she decided to turn all, I don't know, like, I didn't disavow the wisdom of her previous words. I would disavow the wisdom of her current words, however. Even you, Becky, matter to me more than utility. I still would love to chat with you, talk to you again. You know, make up. But, I don't know. Give me a call or something. It's like when people don't deal with this shit, it turns into toxic spite. It just does. Regardless, yeah, I'm not suffering a lot. I did sob yesterday. And remember, I've been broken up over a week. Was my affect melancholic, not flat? Yeah, sure, I guess. I was a little, maybe that's something I can't really differentiate between. Everybody's got their opinion about shit. But that's what I'm asking for when I put my whole life up here, right?
What'd he say?
I would ask for those of you who are uncertain about the matter to afford me a benefit of the doubt that you might not afford others. Most people who tell you they are being fair and objective and telling the real thing about their relationship or whatever, you were completely correct if you say that they're just full of shit. And I am the exception in that area. And I don't know exactly why it is, maybe because of how it's raised, because of debate, because of whatever. First of all, I'm a partner, for example, who's going to abide by good relationship codes, like I won't speak ill of my partner in general. In this instance, the only reason the relationship lasted long was because I had this vent where I could say all the things that Kimberly wouldn't hear to people who would listen to me. But even in that context, I held back plenty of stuff, you know? I did respect her privacy, and do, and I respected everything I could to try to get to her to... but there was always another complaint. There was always another attack. And there was an impossible reality. Why should she work hard to solve the problem when she doesn't even like me? Hi, Dad. It's okay. I figured it out. I was looking for the password to get online, but Delilah gave it to me. Yeah, that's to get into the computer, but not to access the Wi-Fi. But I got it from Delilah, so it's okay. 17 Strauss. I forget what it is. It's on my phone. I can't remember it, but yeah, I got it entered, so it's fine. Yeah, everything's good. Problem solved.
Okay.
She's good. She's calm.
Tied and put up.
Mom, how are you doing? You want to talk to Dad?
Well, you sound like you need to rest a little bit.
How are you doing, Mom?
Okay. Well,
Okay.
okay, which one? Where did we go? Because first there's nothing for us to look at.
Okay. Bye, Dad. Have a good time. Okay. Mwah.
Okay, now let's get over there
All right.
as fast as we can.
You're welcome. Bye. What?
When does it will come over? Or do we walk
No, I
over?
gotta figure it out now. Oh, shit, I forgot about this video. Forgot about this. So you got to hear my phone conversation with my dad. He's can be a little long-winded. So, the last thing I have to say about Kimberly is, and this whole shenanigans, is this was long dead. This was never viable. I ignored the truth about that as best I could for as long as I could because I felt like I guess I wanted to show her what it meant to be committed to somebody who genuinely cared about you and was trying to do his best to relate to you in a healthy and affirming way, reciprocally. Maybe that was presumptuous of me. Maybe.
I don't know, but I think the best thing for you to do is go get something that you do, whether you've brought it in or something, and made it be nice, and see if anybody does that.
Maybe it's presumptuous of me to assume that
No, you're not.
that healthy can never be anything but a two-person endeavor,
Okay.
or unhealthy can never be anything but a two-person endeavor.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not trying to disavow any of the general principles of good communication that I ascribe to and advocate, but I'm just saying that real good communication skills are always mutually attained, never imposed, not even suggested. I mean, it's like they're either there or they're not. You either can talk to the person or you can't. If you can't talk to the person, then it shouldn't take you 2.5 years to leave. If it does, then you're probably going to be ready to move along as quickly as you can, because it is a frustration of ontological proportions. It changes your whole identity. It's so frustrating. I gotta go chase after my mom. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to be plenty of juice. Oh, I'm not quite done with this. I just want to say, again, I have no bad things to say about Kimberly. She's a good person. She cares about a lot of people. People like her. The animals love her. She prevents harm to them. She has a warmth and brightness to her that's very appealing, and I wish all the best for her. But yeah, I'm not gonna spend any time moping around. The absence of toxic conflict does not make me mope.
Yeah, everything is hard.
Melancholic affect.
Yeah.
My ass.
Yeah.
Okay, a little melancholic.